Are you a fan of the finer things in life? Well, of course you are. You're listening to my voice right now. I have some good news for you. If you're a fan of high-class, delicious Italian coffee, I have a promo code for you. If you check out Lorenzotti Coffee at lorenzotti.coffee and use the promo code The Mad Ones, you can get 10% off their fantastic beans. So join us, lorenzotti.coffee, promo code The Mad Ones. You are watching an MLGA Network live broadcast. The only people for me are the Mad Ones.
The world is filled with the boring and the barely conscious.
The misery loves company.
But we don't have to live this way.
Jessica and I are here to talk to those the system rejects, to radicals and thought criminals.
The ones who never yawn or say a commonplace thing, but push the boundaries of acceptable discourse.
Those who stare reality in the face and dare it to be different.
History isn't made by the timid, and fun is not had by the perpetually afraid.
We are the Mad Ones.
So let's get to it.
Welcome to the Mad Ones. I'm your once tried the LP on for size and found out that I didn't want to hang out with that one guy in the Alabama LP who just wouldn't stop talking about My Little Pony. Host Cam Harless, and with me as always is your sometimes some meth head almost hits you with his car and gets so mad that he suddenly stops his car in order to follow you for many miles while driving erratically, so you have to go home and grab your AR hostess, Miss Jessica Green.
Hello. Whew. Yes, I was reviewed on how to use both of our firearms immediately after we got home, so yeah, no worries.
Everyone's safe. It's a happy. It's
yes,
a happy
everyone's
day.
safe. Yeah. Oiled and zeroed.
There we go. And with us tonight is a man of many subscriptions, a newly minted podcaster and YouTube star whose previous works include telling cathedral operatives to eat his whole ass, slapping some dude named Archibald around on Twitter, fighting Nicholas Sarwark to become king of the anthill, and just being a chill dude in a not so chill world, Mr. Joshua Smith.
Oh doing, man. Buddy? Hey, how's it going? That was the best intro anyone has ever given me. Ever.
I hear that a lot.
I fucking love the anthill though, dude. I can't get over it. Also, it was for future reference, it was my entire ass. My entire ass.
Well, hey, I just like say, and I knew that, but I like the double entendre of ass and hole being in the same sentence.
Sure, fair.
So that's just, that's me.
Whole asshole.
So how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right, exactly. Man. I'm hanging in there. I cannot complain. How are you guys?
Tired.
Good.
I don't know which one of us is going to interview who. You know what I mean? Let's just go. Let's go with it. I like it.
So you started your, what are you, 15 episodes into your podcast?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah. Tomorrow will be 16 with Spike Cohen.
Look at that. Yeah. Look at that memory on this bearded bastard.
Well, it helps that I have an amazing artist who does all of my thumbnails, and he puts the number on there and he fucks them up every week, and so he has to go back and change them. And so like I have to remember which number we're at, otherwise we'll just put out the wrong number together. You know what I mean?
Well, hey, and that's the trick for me is any of the promotional stuff, I don't put any numbers on it. I put that in the text. That way it's like foolproof. I can just look at my website and go, okay, so Mike Brancatelli was 86, so Josh Smith 87.
Nice, 87.
So yeah,
podcasts. Holy
87,
shit.
Dude. I have been doing podcasting. Like originally the show was Make Liberty Great Again, and we started that in 2016, right before Trump took office.
Sure. Or
before he won the election, and it lasted 9 episodes, and I was not super thrilled with it, and so I kind of quit. And then 2 years ago, I brought it back and experimented like hell in several different ways on what I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it. And then this year I was like, okay, I'm tired of this thing. I'm just going to I had Jessica on Make Liberty Great Again 5 times because I was slowly boiling the frog. I was like, she's the most fun to talk to with other people. I'm just going to slowly make it happen. And then what's funny is one day, she was looking at music to do a project with. And I happened to have decided on changing the name to the Mad Ones and coming up with the art. And I sent it to her, and she was like, "Oh wow, what is this?" And I was like, "Well, you're joining, right? We're not going to pretend anymore, right?" So yeah, 100 episodes is going to be, I think, June 30th.
That's so rad, man! Congrats, dude.
A lot
I'm so far away. I'm so far away.
We're doing Friend Month in May, where it's like all the guests are our friend who've been friends of the show, and then in June, I think we're going to try and set up all Mikes, like everybody named Mike and Michael. We're going to just do a Michael month.
There's so many Mikes. There's
so many Michaels. Yeah.
Well, we had Mike Brancatelli last night, and I was on Twitter today, and I reacted to a tweet or responded to a tweet between Mike Meharry and Michael Bolden. And I was like, Mike Meharry's been on my show twice. I love Mike. He's just a friend of mine. And I was like, I need to have him back. And I was like, I need to ask Michael Bolden to come on. And then I was like, I could also ask Mike Brancatelli to come back. And then I just need one. At this point, I just need one more Michael. But the 100, I have a design for June 30th that I've started and I've got a tentative yes for. And I'm not going to say that now because I don't want to like fuck it up and overpromise.
But it will complete
the goal.
It'll
complete the Michaels. Let me just say. I
know a Michael that would complete any podcast. So I'm hoping for you, buddy.
Pray for it, buddy.
There's one that I'm going at on Twitter until he blocks me. So I get it. I know.
Well, that's what's great though is the one that we're talking about without talking about him directly is he follows me, so we're mutuals, so I can DM him.
Sure.
And so that's great. And let me tell you, that's a good day when you get that follow.
I've DM'd him probably 10 times with no response whatsoever. So I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting to get the block. I'm going to show up one day and be like, "Hey, wait a minute. Where'd he go?"
So yeah, today is traditionally tax day. Last year they moved it up because of COVID. And then this year they moved it up, I think, to the 17th of May. But this is traditional tax day. And so I thought, who better to have on the show on tax day than Joshua Smith so that we can just shit on the IRS and shit on the state on their favorite holiday.
Unironically, not figuratively, shit on the IRS.
Yeah.
Just like walk up to the building.
Just shit all over the IRS.
Shit upon the IRS.
Yeah, like I'd like to get that drink that you have to drink for 24 hours the night before a colonoscopy and just show up at the IRS building and be like, "What's up? Party time." You know what I mean? Just cleared it out at the IRS building.
God, that's got to be a form of treason. It absolutely has to be a form of treason. There's no way it's not.
I think the IRS is the treasonous ones. I think that would be
fair enough.
The patriot thing to do would be to go and shit
on the IRS.
Yeah.
Upon the IRS.
That's upon the IRS. That would literally be the patriotic thing to do.
Yes. So let it be known, the patriotic thing to do is to drink a bunch of Epicac, or no, that's the one that makes you throw up.
I don't remember what it's called. It's the shit that if you don't have a lot of money and your insurance sucks, you have to actually mix it with Crystal Light because it doesn't have any flavor. It just tastes like salt water.
Oh no!
I know this from experience.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I had to put a TV in the bathroom, so it's
learning a lot of things today.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun to show up to the IRS like that and be like, "Hey, we should just have like a mass shit in." You know what I mean? Of the IRS.
This is a unique form of peaceful protest.
Yeah.
I fully approve of.
We need to demonstrate, and the way that we demonstrate is a mass shit in of the IRS.
Shit in. Oh God. It would only be what they deserved, to be honest. Yeah.
Just give it back. We're coming to give it back, buddy.
I'm rendering unto Caesar what is Caesar's.
Yes. We had I go to church sometimes, and we were in church probably about a month ago now because I haven't had a Sunday off in a long time. And we went to church, and the pastor was talking about that specific, that quote, the render under Caesar.
Yeah.
And then he goes on to explain it. And basically he's basically saying, and Caesar doesn't own shit, like legitimately. So don't give Caesar shit. And I'm going, this is a cool fucking church, man.
Yeah, golly.
So,
And that's what, so when we had Thaddeus Russell on the show, he kind of tried to use that verse as a means to be like, well, you can't be a libertarian or an anarchist and be a Christian at the same time. And I was like, no, because this is something that, I actually have a degree in biblical studies. Like that's part of my deal. And so early on in my Facebooking libertarianism thing, people were like, hey, could you write something or tell me something about render under Caesars? So I spent a lot of time in that. And what's fascinating about that story is, one, they were all like taken aback by what he said.
Sure.
Because the trap that they tried to get him in was let's go into Bible for a second, because then I have something else about the Bible I want to talk about that I find just fantastic. So Jesus lived in a time where it was the Roman occupation. And so if you said not to pay your taxes, Rome was going to come down on you and crucify you, right? And he was also talking to the Jews, and on the denarius, the coin that they used was a picture of Caesar, which was an engraven image of a different god. Caesar saw himself as a god, etc. And so it was a trap. It was like, if he says, pay your taxes, he pisses off the Jews who will want to crucify him. And if he says, don't pay your taxes, the Romans are going to want to crucify him. And so he said, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, render unto God what is God's.
Right.
And so there are a couple layers here, I truly believe. One of the layers being, it's a concession. It's don't get yourself murdered. We have a bigger mission at hand. And two, if you look at the way he talked about it, he pointed the coin and he said, whose image is on this coin? And he said Caesar's. And then he followed up with the phrase, give to Caesar what is Caesar's, give to God what is God's. And so the question is, what do we have in our possession that is made and pressed and engraved in the image of God? Us.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
We're made in the image of God. And so he was saying it was a concession of sorts, pay, like what your pastor said, but also it was kind of a way of saying, I don't want your money as much as I want you fully.
Right. True.
So this is like this wonderful thing, but random Bible stuff. Today I found out that there's a translation of the Bible in Hawaiian pidgin.
Wow.
What?
Fair.
The pidgin language in Hawaii.
Yeah.
It's a Creole. So it's a real rough version of English.
Okay.
And so the name of the translation is The Good and Special Book. And it's wonderful.
I'm gonna listen to it. They got an audio version. I'm gonna listen to that.
I don't know if they have audio, but it's on the Bible app.
Do you have a select passage that you're about to read?
Do.
Okay.
I do, and I have some other things. It's so good, and I'm glad it exists for people who only speak or read this language. But it's also hilarious. John 3:16.
Sure.
Yes.
For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son, and yada yada.
You
But
know
in
the
pidgin-
thing.
In
Yeah,
pidgin,
Stone Cold
it goes,
Steve and Stone Cold Steve Austin, man.
That's right.
In pidgin, it goes, God get plenty love and aloha for the people inside the world. That's why he sent me, his one and only boy. Because of that, everybody that's trust me, no going to get cut off from God forever. And it's typed like this. Like, I'm not putting on an accent. They going to get the real kind life that going stayed to the max forever. When God send me his boy inside the world, he never do that for punish the people. He send me forget the people out of the bad kind stuff they stay do.
My God. Wow. I'm gonna have to read that.
It's a thing to behold.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. And then as I was looking at this, I was trying to find John 3:16, and I was looking at the names of the books, and it's also there. Like Genesis is called Start.
Wow.
And then so in Leviticus is the rules or priests, and then Deuteronomy is called rules second time.
Wow.
I like that one. Rules second time. I mean,
and then there's Proverbs is called smart guys. Psalms
the
is
more
called
you
songs.
describe this, the more I like it, to be honest.
I love it. I love it so much.
For sure.
I love it so
cut
much.
And dry.
A lot of it's very one of my favorite things is that Acts is called Jesus Guys. And let's see, and Revelation is called Jesus Show.
Wow.
This might
It's
be the Bible
wonderful.
for me, to be
Yeah,
honest,
this- I
because
think
that
this
King
is your
James
Bible.
version.
This is
Yeah, the
definitely
King
Bible.
James not doing it for me. I don't really read the Old English so good, but I feel like I could understand this and
So
absorb it better.
in Matthew, you read the Bible and there's a lot of ancestry. James was the son of Joseph, was the son of blah blah blah. But here, I'll read you from Matthew 1. Jesus ancestor guys. This book tell about Jesus and his ancestor guys. He the Christ guy, the special guy God wins sin. He from King David Ohana, and David, he from Abraham Ohana. This Jesus Ohana list. Get 14 fathers from Abraham to David. Abraham, he Isaac father. Isaac, he Jacob father. Jacob, he Judah father. And all Judah brothers, he their father too. Judah.
Wow.
I love
This
it.
is the best
so
version of the Bible I've
much.
It
ever
might be the
heard.
best. It might be the number one version of the
Oh my
Bible in the world
God.
for sure.
I love it.
So you
so
guys know
much.
they have the LOL Cats version of the Bible as well.
No.
So
way.
like the LOL cat meme speak, the way you see cats speak in memes, they've written the Bible out entirely in LOL cat speak. So if you're a fan of the Ancestor guys, you might also like the LOL cat Bible.
somebody
Equally
Somebody
charming.
said, I wonder if they have an Ebonics version for people who live in Oakland, California. I happen to be from Oakland, California, by the way. And
Let me Google that.
all the churches do, actually.
But no, I
It's not
found
called
that
Ebonics,
today.
it's called something else.
Yeah, it's just how
Jive.
you speak there, huh?
It's like excuse me, stewardess, I speak jive. Have you ever seen that video from Airplane?
Well, I mean, I've seen the movie Airplane repeatedly over and over again for a long time, but
Okay,
it's been a while.
Airplane.
Are you talking about Soul Plane?
I can't tell.
I
you.
knew of, but did not
That's
see that.
Airplane.
I mean, Snoop
found
Dogg
it.
was in Soul Plane, so
That's right. I remember that.
yeah, it's kind of cool.
Here we go.
Are you showing us
Yes,
something?
hold
Oh, you
on.
are.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Goes all doors now. And keep an eye on that number 3 engine gauge over there. It's running a little hot.
Striker, before we start, I'd like to say something. I know that right now things must look pretty rough up there.
It's a-
But if you do what I tell you,
There we
and I
go.
tell
Yeah,
you
this
to
is
do
a
it,
long
The
clip.
actual point.
Can I get you something?
It's your mofo butter laying me to the bone, jacking me up. Tight me.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Cuddy say can't hang.
Oh, stewardess, I speak jive.
Oh, good.
Oh my
He
god.
said that he's in great pain and he wants to know if you can help him.
All right. Would you tell him to just relax and I'll be back as soon as I can with some medicine?
Just hang loose, blood. She's gonna catch up on the rebound on the med side.
What it is, big mama? My mama didn't raise no dummies. I duck a rap.
Cut me some slack, Jeff.
Say Cuddy can
Chump don't want to help. Chump don't get the
Say
help.
can't hang. Say 7 Up.
Jive ass dude don't got no brains anyhow.
Jesus. You couldn't get away with doing that shit anymore.
No.
The golden age
Oh,
was
no.
dead.
Where are the white women at? Speaking of white women,
Classic.
we have a game for you.
Oh boy.
The game.
There we go. All
And so this game is one that started with my friend Thaddeus Preston, because he has this penchant of, if any woman is mentioned in any official capacity, he'll let you know whether or not she gets the D. So this is the first time I've shared this game outside of Thaddeus. So let's do that, and your Italian fiance will forgive you.
She will literally stab me in my sleep. You're
So let's do
trying to get me killed. I am going to tell everybody that the Mad Ones got me murdered.
Have faith that good things will happen.
Well, either way, here we go.
Does she get the D?
All right, so I have some lovely Liberty ladies here for you to tell us. Jessica's going to partake as well. I'm not. I compiled this list, so it's not fair for me to weigh in. So if you could give a, you can give a yes and then or a no, and then follow it with a 1 to 10 score. Okay, of whether how hot this person is. Are you prepared for this?
Oh God.
Here we go. Here we go.
No one's ready for this.
Oh. Wow. Okay. So
the dawning of the age of Aquarius.
Okay, listen. What had happened was, okay, Julie, I don't think Julie is going to be mad about me rating female Spike, but it's possible that she would still kill me. But listen. This is now Tasha's wife. Tasha's wife, Spike Cohen. As is that the vice president mixed with Spike Cohen? I don't know.
No,
Yeah.
it's I just took
Spike.
I took Spike and made him a woman.
Oh my God.
And not in the traditional biblical way of making someone a woman. Just, in pictorial form. So
she looks like she definitely needs some smoked salmon for sure.
She's hurting for it for sure.
Here's the question: 1 to 10.
I think
Spikeita Cohen.
Female Spike is like a solid 6. 5 maybe.
6.5. That's what I was. 6.5 to 7.
Okay.
Was mine.
So let's move on. Let's move on to the next.
Oh God.
Do you know who this is?
I don't even know this one.
See, we also have to guess who it is because I don't think I know. I know you sent me a list, but I don't have it anymore.
This is the premier libertarian presidential candidate from both 2012 and 2016.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I can see. Yeah, now I see it. You needed the eyes needed to be a little more stoned, and then I would have caught it. You know what I mean? Like maybe a chat bubble that's like bake the cake. Then I would have got it.
Oh, just wait. It gets better and better. Some of these are legit smoke shows. I'm letting you know now.
Okay. I'd say that female Gary is a 6.5 or 7.
Yeah, Garina. Yeah. Garina's all right. I agree with the assessment.
All right. And here's next. Here's the most libertarian person you could ever meet. Okay.
That's like a solid 1. Solid 1. That person looks like they want to bomb brown children overseas for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, Miss Wilhelmina Weld, that we've got right here.
Yeah,
will be appointed health secretary
She's
soon.
been drinking Old Crow in Boston for sure for too long. Disgusting.
So, yeah. Points for the hair though. She has nice hair. So I'm going to give her a 3. I'll give her a 3.
Solid 1 for me.
Okay.
That's a no bueno.
All right, here we go. How about this beauty? This beauty is from Georgia. She,
my home state,
wants to make Georgia nullify all federal gun laws. It's Miss Shane T. Hazel.
Oh my God! I gotta give Shane T. Hazel like a solid 8, man. Just because it's Shane. You know, even if it was ugly, I'd still have to give it an 8 because Shane would probably just beat me up. You know.
Well, she's also got that gun, so
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
yeah.
I give Miss Shane a 8.
8. Okay.
Nice.
Shania.
Shania.
Yeah.
All right. How about this?
Dude,
This
solid
beautiful
10.
woman?
I don't. That's like an
Aw.
11. Easily 11. Most beautiful
Yeah.
woman I've ever seen outside of my fiance Julia, of course.
She's a doctor.
Yeah, she's got to be a doctor.
She's
a doctor
an
of liberty.
OBGYN.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Solid 11. We're
And
taking that
she
one
bakes
half to 10.
cookies.
Yep.
Beautiful woman. What do you give her, Jessica?
I'm not sure I could do the point ranking system like I thought I could. So I'm just gonna give a yes or no. And I just as talented and wonderful as Dr. Rana is.
Rana Paulina.
Yeah. Rana Paulina. She's a little out of my age range. So we could hang though. We could definitely hang.
I got you. Well, I have more.
Okay.
What about this
Oh,
doctor?
wow.
Oh, man.
How did Tom Woods decide to look like it looks like Salma Hayek almost. Jesus, Tom. This is it's solid 9, Tom.
Shit.
You're killing it.
Hot. Very hot.
All right, who do we have next? This is the woman beyond the wall.
Oh wow. Yeah. Sorry, Pete. I'm gonna have to give you like a 5 or 6, bud. Missing your goatee right now, bud.
You can tell that the nut duster
busy.
kind of messed up the algorithm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It just faded right into the neck.
She's a handsome woman.
Very handsome
Very
woman.
handsome. How about this one?
Oh,
this is a
we're gonna
man
go
who-
solid -5, and this human can go fuck themselves. How about that?
Yeah.
Just in case you're listening, Richie Castaldo, you bitch made. Sorry, I'm gonna go off right now.
Regina.
I'm gonna get really fucking Oakland in this house right now.
He follows me, and no matter how many times I tell him to go fuck himself, he won't unfollow me. It's
Yeah.
the most bizarre thing ever.
And he has me blocked.
Yeah, he'll block me for like several months and then pop on and like make a post about me just so that I can see it. And then he just gets completely fucking ratioed and then disappears. And I'm like, what is this your fetish kid? Like, did you jerking off in front of minors out your window isn't doing it no more or what? Like,
So this is the person who got the Snyder Cut released. But let's move on to.
damn, Dave, killing it.
I'm saying.
Yeah, Dave's a solid 10 or 11 too, man. He's up there with Rona
show.
Paulina. Yeah, killing it.
This is what I'm talking about when I said some of these are smoke shows.
Yeah, Dave's killing it. Dave's in the wrong body right now, I think.
Which is
I prefer this body or the fat body, to be honest.
Yeah, fat Dave's the best Dave, really.
You're welcome.
Fat Dave Smith is an amazing Twitter account, by the
Yeah.
way. I've laughed at every single one of those posts.
They already have like 400 followers or something too. And it
was 700.
Jesus.
It was 7. Yeah, when
Love
I
it.
joined, and then the pinned post is his intro for his podcast, but it's all fat
I
stuff.
saw it. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
I
definitely
love
followed it.
What I love about Fat Dave Smith is it's my creation. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's pretty good.
And
though.
it's gone beyond me at this
Oh
point.
yeah. Oh yeah. It's out in the world now, bud. For sure.
All right, let's see who's next. What do you think?
Oh god,
Can you suss it out?
I can't even figure it out.
This is Archie Flower.
Oh,
How is he worse as a woman?
he's
Every
even
single one of
worse
those
as a woman,
people
yeah.
got
His
better
eyes
looking
are really
as a woman.
freaking me out. Yeah, every single person got better looking as a woman except for Archie Flowers. That's unfortunate, bud. You know, it's sad, man. The Archie thing's sad because I used to really like Archie.
No.
I never knew anything about him.
Dave broke him, man. Dave really fucking broke him. He used to be really cool, and then Dave just fucking destroyed his entire life. And now all he can think about, his head, he wakes up in the morning, it's like, Dave Smith, Fuentes, Joshua Smith. Like, that's it. That's all he can do. Like, he can't.
What I love is my April Fool's prank. He didn't react at all. And 25,000 people watched that video that I made. And he didn't say a word. So he saw it. He didn't block me. He didn't say anything. But what was I was hoping that I would get him with the misspelling of his name. Flowers instead of flower. But there was nothing in there that got him. So, I mean, hey, kudos to him. Kudos.
Yeah. It sucks, man. I really liked Archie. Archie was like really philosophically consistent and like was a really cool guy, and then something happened, man. It just broke him. And now he's like on this weird SJW, like, I'm gonna attack anybody that does anything I don't like. Like, bro, shut the fuck up and go back to you're the chair of a state party. What's wrong with you? He won't be for long though.
Yeah.
How about this girl?
Oh damn, Bob Murphy killing it.
Bob is sexy.
Bob is another one. Becoming a woman helped Bob out a lot for sure.
The curly hair that sprouted from his bald head is just
it's pretty hilarious. Yeah. Bob's like a solid 7.
She reminds me of every girl I went to school with who was going for nursing.
Yeah, it's definitely lost the economics feel there, Bob.
Yeah.
What's bad about this is anyone who's listening to this, I just realized, stop listening and go to our YouTube and watch this, or on Odyssey, because you're missing this.
You're missing the whole visual aspect.
This is visual. So stop listening, go to YouTube. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
At least for this portion.
How about this girl?
Malice looks like like he just did the walk of shame after like a long 3-day bender of drinking. And like woke up in a bed with some guy that he didn't know and was like, I'm gonna go do a podcast now. That's what that looks like right now, like the hair and everything. But he's still like a solid 8. Good job, Mike.
Well, all those Eastern European chicks are like super hot. They're like off the charts hot.
That is true.
Until they hit like 55 and then they become babushkas.
What are you gonna do?
All right, and then after Malice, we have your nemesis.
Ugh. God, why does he look so good as a woman? That's unfortunate. Fucking Nick Stankwark, dude. I hate this motherfucker.
Like he missed his calling. Like he probably should have been a woman.
Yeah, he was supposed to be a woman. It makes sense now. Dave actually called him a fucking woman once, and that was hilarious. It might have been the funniest thing Dave's ever said, to be honest with you.
I said I wouldn't bully him anymore, but I didn't say I wouldn't laugh at other people bullying him.
I am never going to live a life where I don't bully Nick's artwork. So everyone can just get used to that shit.
So you'd put this in the hate bang category.
Nick is like a solid 8 or 9 as a woman, man. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
All right. I think that the next one is probably the second sexiest woman on the list, period. Who that?
Jesus. It's because of the eyes, okay? I got a good smile and eyes. That's what it is. This is pre-beard. This picture's pre-beard too, by the way. So wow. They got the hair pretty solid though.
Yeah, presidential.
I do
like the pantsuit. It looks good.
I do think though that female you is a lesbian.
Yeah, it definitely looks like an MMA fighter too, probably.
I get some big Rosario Dawson vibes off of this, and
beautiful
as we know, she served as Cory Booker's beard for a while, and then after that decided, I don't think I'm going to be with men for a while.
That's yeah, I mean that's like at least a solid 15. You know what I mean?
All right, and here's the last one. I didn't do one of myself. I should have, but I didn't. I'm an idiot. But I have one that I could pull up, but maybe we'll do that in a second. But the hottest on this list, the one that could crush your body, soul, and pelvis all at once.
Wow.
Oh my God.
I'm
telling you.
Amy Schumer.
It does. It looks like it's Amy Schumer in 10 years, right there. That's what she's gonna look like. Exactly what it is.
just
man.
with far more strength.
I can't rate this one until I see it start making ape arms and screaming that the frogs are gay. It'd be hard to rate.
He drank the water.
Yeah.
That's
he
what
definitely
happened.
Yeah, someone fed him the water. Damn it. Alexis Jones. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Alexis Jones is a solid better than Richie. We'll just call it that. We'll just leave it there.
Well, that's all that I have in that vein. I can find mine if you really want it. But
Well, of course we really want it.
I didn't.
That was a fun installment of Does She Get the D? I think that should be a regular feature of our podcast
Wow.
where we make the guests very uncomfortable.
Can you send me the picture of girl me, because I'm going to use that on a burner account to like farm fans for my page.
Do it. It works.
I can do that.
It gets you so many followers.
Yeah, I know.
Where is it? Yeah, I'll pull mine up when I find it. It's funny because I can't do my face. Mine's very hard to do because of the beard.
The beard, yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I mean, literally,
you have pictures of me pre-beard. That's why it was easier for me.
Can
well,
you,
I had one with the
push it
beard,
back?
and well, see, that's the thing. Mine extends my face a little too much, and so it pretends that. And if I don't trim my beard,
yeah, you have the big mustache too. That like hangs.
This
all the
is
way
not
over.
seen as like face, and so
Yeah.
it's like a tiny toddler head above my beard. It's disturbing.
Right.
So I have to go back to like 2013, the last time I shaved my face, to make these.
Yeah, I can't let my mustache get long. I start eating it, and it like freaks me out. It makes me want to shave my whole beard. So that's why I'm like. And the last time I shaved my beard, Julie and I broke up for 3 weeks. So.
Oh no.
Never shaving it again.
Hey. I have to warn my husband not to shave his beard.
Yeah, it's just shocking, you know.
My wife would kill me if I shaved. Like
Yeah.
for real. I would not have a wife or children anymore if I shaved my
Well, we
face.
don't want to date women. We want to date men, and men have beards.
Oof, that sounds misogynist.
Does it?
Yeah. You're
It can't be
obviously
misogynist.
you're simping for the patriarchy right now.
Yeah. Well, it's got its benefits.
Yeah. No shit, right? who would have thought that women and men have different things that complement each other? Oh my god, this is horrible. Horrible.
My wife just
pretend
texted
I
me.
don't. Wait, go ahead.
My wife just texted me asking me what I'm doing in here. She might kill me. So
We're rating women.
we are. That is true.
Yeah.
I got these new track lights today, and I was like trying to figure out which one looks better. What do you guys think? Red? Do you see this? Can you see this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's green.
I like the turquoise. Yeah.
That's green. Blue. Thanks for doing this with me, guys. I appreciate it.
The green is more eye catching. The green is eye catching.
Yellow. What's that? What's that color? Cyan. It's got cyan. That's kind of
Yeah,
cool.
nice. Yeah. I think the green or the cyan are the most standout.
Huh. I didn't even think about that. Well, initially my set was going to be red, white, and blue. That was the whole goal. And so I did like the red RGB lights and the blue RGB lights, and then I had like white behind me. But
I love this poster is that Ron Paul?
it is, yeah. It says the fight has just begun.
Yeah.
It says revolution.
He's rolling up
there.
his sleeve, getting
Yeah.
ready to get tough, or he's getting ready to make cookies. We don't know which.
Yeah,
it is.
you never know. Or become a woman and be the most beautiful woman on earth, you know. Next to Julia, my beautiful Italian fiance.
Yeah, I know. When I posted that on Twitter, I was so looking forward to somebody being like, "That's shitty. Don't do that. Don't judge women on their looks." And I wanted to be like, "Come on, guys, get with it." But nobody got mad about it. Like the people we hang out with are too cool, I guess.
Yeah, we got Liberty Twitter's the most part pretty fucking cool.
Yeah,
For the most part.
for
pretty
the
fucking
most part.
There's some really shitty blue-pilled Liberty people that you know, I really question whether or not they're actually libertarians, and they are just fucking annoying. Now I've started blocking them recently. I hit almost 16,000 followers. I figured it was time. Jeez, is that you?
This is me as a woman.
Yeah,
You
you're
look
doing all right, buddy.
underage.
Yeah, you definitely look young, but you're doing all right. Those big eyes,
That's
man.
these big. Big ol' lies, dude.
Yeah.
I want to tell her. I want to tell her to get back in the house. Like, go home.
Young lady, go to bed. Get in your bed.
That's right.
I do look like my sister in that. That's what's the weird part. Is I maybe a prettier version, but don't tell her I said that.
Uh-oh. You're in trouble now.
I know.
What were we talking about before we actually went live? That I was like, we should talk about this because
we were going to talk about the. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not an LP guy, but you are an LP guy.
Yeah,
and you're in a very interesting place, and with some very low testosterone people attacking you all the time. What the fuck is that like?
Oh, Jesus. It's funny because you'd think that I'd spend all my time dealing with this shit, but I really don't. I mean, I got 7 kids. I work 12-hour shifts. I do the show. It's literally like my bathroom time, man. You know what I mean? Like I'm at work but it's funny to me. A lot of times it's really funny to me because there's these fucking people who have done nothing in this movement whatsoever.
Right.
I mean, fucking nothing. And they're attacking me for personal shit that literally has no bearing on the work that I've done for the Liberty movement. You know what I mean? And the part about it is that like 98.5, look, less of what they say is true about me than the amount of people who survive COVID. Let's just put it that way. You know what I mean? Like it's fucking it literally at this point 90% of the shit is completely made up. The other 9.98% is half truths. You know what I mean? Like, sure, I have some fucking arrears and child support, dude. Do you know anything about family court? Do you know anything about how this shit works? Millions of men in America deal with this shit every day. I'm not the first one to deal with it. You know what I mean? Did my daughter not live with me? Sure, she didn't live with me. Now I have full fucking custody of her. Now I have my granddaughter with me. Now I have her 2 younger siblings that aren't even mine biologically that I kept from going to foster care. These people, they just say whatever they can to try and hurt people, and it doesn't really it doesn't really hurt me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not really hurt by it, but I am worried about the things they're saying, like hurting my actual life, like my actual job, my actual relationships. It's not just some fucking Twitter beef. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are saying shit that could affect my livelihood, how I take care of these children. So there's one of 2 things is going to happen. Either A, I at some point I'm going to get fed up with it and we're going to take it to a fucking courtroom and you're going to either get shut the fuck up or you're going to pay me a ton of money, or B, I'm going to see you in public. You know what I mean? And then you start I dare you to start putting your fucking finger in my face. Like, dare you? You know what I mean? But then we had this one fat guy who called me out, said he wanted to have a fight with me. He's like, he started off with men posting their L's, right? He's like, listen, I'm a morbidly obese, 50% disabled veteran who hasn't seen the inside of a gym in 10 years and has a broken foot. And I'll come to Iowa and fight you. And I'm like, all right, dude. Come on. Well, no, I was like, well, I'm not going to have this fucking guy who is a husband of someone who's been making all this shit up about me for fucking years, right? Come to my backyard and fight me in my backyard, get beat up, and then call the police, right? Like, because that's what's going to happen. I'm not fucking stupid. So I'm like, all right, well, I fucking do MMA. I've been doing MMA for 10 years. I wrestled for 14 years prior to that. Okay, well, I know a couple people that own some gyms here. Let me get a fucking something set up where you have to sign a fucking contract that the if I die here, I can't sue anybody contract, right?
Right.
And then we'll do it. And so I hit up one gym and the gym's like, oh, we're absolutely not going to do that. And then the gym that my fiance's brother trains at and is actually a coach at, they're talking about maybe letting it happen. So so we're gonna do it. It's gonna do it. But then he's like, well, you didn't give me an address. You ghosted me. You did this and that and this and that. I'm like, nah, dude, I'm gonna get you an address, bro. I'm not afraid to fight you, man. Like I did this shit as a sport for 10 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
well, and that's what's funny. I kind of like tangentially knew of you a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And I saw something blow up that people were saying that you did this horrible thing to this person. And it was so funny because I didn't know you, but I did know the other person.
The
and
perpetual victim.
I was like, that's a crazy bitch. I don't believe a word of this.
That's the perpetual victim.
I have to let you know, the first time, really one of the first times I actually heard of you, I was like, well, I'm on his side. Like,
well, thanks, dude. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Because I knew.
Well, let's just,
Do you know that?
We can put it out in the open, dude. Risa Willis is an absolute fucking professional victim who has to have everybody feel bad for her every fucking day, or her life has no meaning. That's literally what it is. And I didn't know this at the time, but I started dating her while I was going through a breakup and traveling around the country for the national convention, or for national chairman. And I had actually been dating her for about a month before I was on the bus with Adam Kokesh, and Adam Kokesh was like, you're not dating Risa Willis, are you? Dude, no, you know, and I still, you know, I was like, oh no, it's cool, we're good, you know, and I found out real quick that what he was talking about. I mean, she's one of these people that if you don't, you know, if you're not gonna fucking stand for her all the fucking time, and you guys like date and then break up, she's gonna try and ruin your life, and that's what she did to me. She tried to go around and tell everyone that I beat her up. Dude, I got a fucking ride to a hotel from a police officer that night in Dallas, Texas. I'm telling you, if I had put my hands on this woman, I would have been in the back of that cop car going to jail. It's Texas, dude. Right. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And so she went around telling all kinds of fucking tall tales about me, trying to get sympathy and this and that. And I don't give a shit. Like I'll say it all out in the open. I'll say exactly what fucking happened. In fact, I'm thinking about making an entire video on all the people in this movement that have been trashing me and my family for the last 4 fucking years. But she's definitely at the top of that list, man. You know, and there was a time when we had tried to bury the hatchet, and I was like, look, I'm sorry things went down the way they did. You know, best of luck to you going forward in the future. I don't mind working with you, whatever. Everything's good. I thought it was squashed. Then I saw her talking shit about me in a bunch of different rooms, and I'm like, all right, you know what? Fuck this. You know, so I dropped a bunch of screenshots because I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to play that game. Like I did the same thing when Angela Fisher Owens, another extremely crazy bitch, started trying to like run this Me Too shit on me back in fucking 2017. I dropped an entire article of screenshots, and that was where this all stemmed from. You know what I mean? I pissed all these people off so bad because I keep screenshots of everything because I know better. You know what I mean?
You should.
So yeah. So I don't know, man. It was the whole thing's crazy. It's just a bunch of little sad people that have done fucking nothing in this movement whatsoever, that want to hate on me because I have built a platform and I have, you know, promoted liberty in this country, and I got endorsed by Ron Paul last year, and I got to keynote a ballroom behind Ron Paul, and I've gotten to go to 40 states and speak in front of thousands of people. And what are they doing? What are they doing? Nothing. They're doing nothing, and they hate it. So.
What if that's the intent, though? The intent is to do nothing, and you're doing something, so you're being technically antithetical to whatever their purpose is, which is to do nothing.
Right. Well, and that's,
work for the CIA.
Yeah, well, that's, we could have that whole conversation on Nick Sarwark, how I believe, when that shit came out about Sarwark, Nick was like, they were like, oh, Sarwark's some kind of CIA plan or something. I'm like, no, I don't know. Look, I don't like Nick, but I'm not going to play into this shit. That list came out though from WikiLeaks. Okay. WikiLeaks doesn't just put shit out. They vet shit before they put it out.
Right.
And this is a high list, or a list of high paid operatives from a military industrial complex. What's the name of the fucking company? I can't remember right now, but so this is supposed to be a list of like high up operatives, and Nick Sarwark's address and name are on there. Okay. And Nick explained it away as, oh, well, my brother-in-law got me a fucking year-long subscription to their magazine for Christmas one year. And I'm going, at first I was like, all right, cool, whatever, dude. Yeah, cool. And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, why the fuck would anybody get the chair of the National Libertarian Party a year-long subscription to this fucking military industrial complex contract company? Right. And then I started thinking about it, and what Tom Woods said about it, whether he is a CIA operative or not, if he was, would he be able to be doing a better job than what he's doing now? And it's like, no. I mean, he literally goes against all the shit that the liberty movement wants to see, and so I didn't I didn't fall into it, but now I'm 100% convinced that he's either paid by or from an agency. And the funny thing is, he actually, when he first got his start in the party, he was in Maryland, right? And this is where
right
the NSA is there. All this shit's there. And he became I believe the vice chair. He was either the chair or the vice chair of the Maryland party. That was how he worked his way up. And then he moved to Colorado, became either the vice chair or the chair of Colorado State, then moved to Arizona, then started running for chairman of the national party. And it was like, and now he's in New Hampshire where the Free State Project is. And it's like, you're doing a lot of fucking moving around for a guy with 5 kids, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and you started in Maryland, and you have a really shitty explanation for why your name was on that list. You know what? I think you are a fucking an alphabet boy at this point. You know what I mean? And I didn't before.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I haven't spent a lot of time in the LP outside of being around some of the state parties. And like I said, there are some people there that I didn't want to hang out with at all. They smelled really fucking weird. But that's one of those things that's kind of the question I've asked is, if the CIA wanted to take potential radicals, potential people who could go after freedom and affect liberty in the country, how would they do it? And my answer is they would create a holding tank to move radicals out of actuality, reality, action, and put them into a fake political party and have them run their wheels and not do anything but feel like they are. And so that's been kind of my thing, is if the CIA was to design something like that, up until some of the Mises stuff that's gone on, I would absolutely describe the LP like that.
Sure.
That's just
I don't think it was just
trap.
So I wouldn't describe the LP like that, but I will describe so if you talk to some of the founders of the LP, or people who've been around since close to the founding of the LP, at least since 1971 or right around the 70s,
I think it was co-opted rather than.
Well, there was several people who will tell
way.
You from back then that are they'll take the long drag of their cigarette. For every 5 people you meet in the Libertarian Party, one of them's from either the old parties or an alphabet agency. You know what I mean? Like, and like, it makes sense. Like, it really does. Like, and of course they want to stop it, but that's why I appreciate the Mises Caucus, because I know the fucking Mises Caucus is not working for the FBI. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, that's the other thing is I don't really use the word agorist. That's not really, because I don't do a lot of the label shit. I'm an anarchist. Sure. So, I mean, that's just, I don't really need all the rest of the descriptors and hyphens and all of that. But I don't do the political action thing anymore. I'm very much focused on my life and my friends' lives and creating freedom in my own life. That's just kind of where I am. So like political action is Ryan. So political action is, I'm not that fat, Ryan. Come on. But that's my take on things. And so I'm not at all interested in the political apparatus. But what's interesting to me is I really appreciate so many of the people in the Mises Caucus, but at the same time, I look back at the 1988 Ron Paul run for president and Rothbard working with him. And then shortly after that, they both ditched the LP and moved on. And so I guess one of my questions for people who are still into the LP, who think that this is a way forward, do you think that Dr. Paul and Rothbard were wrong when they left? Or do you think that this is the strategy? Or do you think that Dr. Paul going into the Republican Party and hitting the bigger audience is?
Well, I think the Republican Party in 1988 was a much different party. The Republican Party now is almost indistinguishable from the Democratic Party. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, they are the same party at this point. They find bipartisan support for every bad bill that wants to be passed. They don't give a shit about freedom. They don't give a shit about small government. They don't give a shit about conservatism. the 2A, the Bill of Rights, none of it. It's all gone. So, and that has been a slow evolution since the 80s. I mean, maybe even before, really. Reagan was obviously better than the cult of Trump, but not much better, you know. He was the automatic weapons ban guy. You know, he was the one that the first real Republican that started making attacks on the 2A. You know,
Reagan went from like hero to what the fuck? I could have had a machine gun.
Yeah, exactly.
Ronald Reagan. Fuck you,
yeah,
Ronald
exactly.
Reagan.
I know, right? And so, so I think at this point we need a party that's going to be different than the two old parties. And I think that the Libertarian Party is ripe for that. We have ballot access in 48 states, dude. You know what I mean? We have the opportunity
I guess
to be a political party, but we just spent 6 years under the fucking party of Nick Sarwark and Gary Johnson and Bill Weld. Okay. In 2004, we had Badnarik, Michael Badnarik, who was very radical presidential candidate, wouldn't even get a driver's license. In 2000, we had Harry Brown. And when Harry Brown was the presidential candidate for the Libertarian Party, the party quadrupled in size. It was the largest party membership ever of all time. It was over 30,000 party members. They were doing really good. You know, we lost sight of the Harry Brown Libertarian Party after 2001. I mean, September 11th, 2001. Everyone took off from the party because they were like, well, now we've been attacked on our soil. We're going to war. George Bush was really good at drumming up support for fucking wars. The Bush family in general was really good at drumming up support for the wars. And so it really kind of set the party back. And I think in 2006, during the Portland massacre, there was probably some kind of governmental agencies involved in that to try and completely disband the party. And it's started kind of slowly working its way back up, but I think with some influence from some other place. But I see the Mises Caucus as kind of this guiding light, savior for the Libertarian Party, because these are fucking radical libertarians that do not give a shit what these blue pills want from this party. They are going to take over. They're taking over their local parties. They're taking over their state parties, and they're taking over the national party. And nobody in this party can stop them because they have the numbers, they have the drive. And I believe that once this party is a party that actually represents libertarian values on the national stage, that it will be a fighting force in this country. I mean, you know, over the last 4 years, we started winning state legislator seats. You know, it's the first time since the 70s, you know, and so I think that is showing it can be a force. I don't think right now it's the number one vehicle for political action in this country. You know, obviously we're up against the political and financial juggernauts of the Republicans and Democrats. But I think in the next 10 years, 20 years, I think this party will be the biggest, you know, the biggest opposition to the Republicans and Democrats for sure, like an actual opposition. Politically,
there was one person I was talking to at one point who. So here's my question about the Mises Caucus. What is the goal? Because is it taking over the state, or is it to influence and teach? Because I've heard different people say different things. Probably one of the best arguments for it that I've heard was that it was to tear down the Libertarian Party. And I was like, hey, no, I can get behind that.
It's both.
Because I'm very anti-political. But and I think that is kind of one of my background issues is I don't want to be a part of the state at all. Like True. I don't want to have my hands in it. And that's one of those things that took a long time for me to do. But this was my question was, like I said, Dr. Paul left, Rothbard left, and they chose to coalition with the Republicans at that time. And I do see Tho Bishop's point about the DeSantis's of the world right now, the people who were Trump people and who now no longer have the leadership and the populism that they were following previously. And I think that there is, with the lockdowns, the vaccine passports, with the masks and all of that, that there is a very willing, there are a lot of people who really want to revolt, who really want to fight back. And Yeah, in Florida, well, not those nerds. They didn't even bring guns. What kind of bitch ass insurrection doesn't bring guns?
Exactly.
But I do think that there are. I mean, I'm in Florida. There are a lot of people that I run into all the time who, like, if you walk through Sam's Club, and I don't wear a
This
mask.
is impossible. First of all, everyone in Florida is dead from COVID. So,
but that's what's funny. I walk through Sam's. I don't have a mask on. It would take me. I would have to take off my shoes at this point to count the amount of people that I've walked past without a mask who have then had that realization, I can take this off, and then remove their mask. Like it's gotten maybe past my toes. Like it's 20 plus people at this point. And so I think that there is if you're going to do the political action, is there any room in the Mises Caucus and the way they're working? Because I know they're focused on the LP and taking over the LP, but is there any working and coalitioning with people that are disaffected Republicans and disaffected Trumpites at this point?
I mean, there's no, they'll work with anybody, but the political party focus is the Libertarian Party because it is the only party that wants, freedom for everybody. DeSantis has done some great things. Like, don't get me wrong, but you guys are still locking people in prison for fucking pot. You know what I mean? Same here in Iowa. We have a governor who's been really, really pretty calm compared to probably in the top 10 governors during this COVID shit. But they're still throwing people in prison for fucking simple possession of CBD here, dude. You know what I mean? Like,
I totally understand that. I think though, the reason I'm asking this is because not only are there people who are fed up with the authoritarian lockdowns and all the stuff we've had over the last year, but I know people who were like thin blue line, always stand behind police, who right now will no longer stand behind police.
Good.
And so I'm just wondering if there's any, because I'm not a political person, and so this is me just asking because I see those points, I see your points. Is there any way to kind of mix those together and affect the Republicans because a lot of times when people talk about the Libertarian Party as a force for liberty, it's a conversation about like spoiler voting and kind of forcing the hands of the Republicans or forcing the hands of the Democrats to go in a specific direction. And I'm wondering right now, with the discontent that we all see, is there any outreach or any ideas for hitting those people right now? Because I feel like the vaccine passport thing in particular, I'm so happy with DeSantis right now for leading and saying, fuck that, we're not doing it in Florida. That's great. Yeah, there's some other bullshit that's going on, but is there anyone, and honestly, I would love to help with the messaging with this, but talking to those disaffected Republicans and those pissed off people who no longer want to wear 4 masks on their face every time they go out.
I think the Mises Caucus is doing that. I mean, and I think there's great people like Tho Bishop. I support Tho Bishop's mission. Like I told him, we've had this conversation because I'm going to have him on my show. And he said he's of the idea that people like me are too good for the Libertarian Party. I don't disagree with, I don't disagree with Tho. Okay. But I have a fucking mission still, and I believe that once the party is what it's supposed to be, it will be a party that everyone can be proud to be a member of. That is what I'm doing. I don't believe that it's a party, and don't get me fucking wrong. I'm telling everybody I'm gray pilled as shit on the Libertarian Party at this point. Okay, I still have hope. I'm still optimistic. But
I don't know the gray pill.
I'm very skeptical. I made that up.
Black and
white for sure.
I gotcha.
That's kind of where I'm at, right? Like I'm optimistic and skeptical of the ends of the Libertarian Party, but as long as I see the Mises Caucus working as hard as they are, I'm going to be optimistic about the Libertarian Party. The second they walk away, I'm done.
I really want to be able to hope and get on board with this train. Like, there's a huge part of me that wants to just be really gung-ho for this. But I came to this entire like liberty universe only maybe 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. So I don't have like I'm not a conservative. My background's not conservative. I was like a raging social justice warrior before I came to the liberty movement. Yeah, yeah. Bernie Sanders supporter, all that stuff. So like I had a pretty big turn over listening to people like Tom Woods, to Dave Smith, who essentially convinced me that the political means was not the way to accomplish goals. And so now I see these very same people turning around and saying, hey, we're going to try and use the political means. And I don't know that like betrayed is the right word, but I'm confused.
Sure.
And I feel like, why are we suddenly saying that the political means is something to do? Shouldn't we be focusing on creating alternative markets? Because wasn't that like, these are the very people who convinced me of these ideas in the first place.
Sure.
So I just, I'm like, it's hard for me. It's like, hey, I really want to be a team player. I want to get on board. I really want to hope that we could all get out there and have maybe some like amazing Ron Paul moment that reaches out to everybody in the country and, turns things for the better. But like, these are the same people that hammered it home for me that you can't change things that way.
But
so like, can you help me?
Yeah, because you just said it. I mean, you really did. You really answered, and you answered it right there. We want to have another Ron Paul moment. Okay. That's what this is all about. We're not going to win the presidency. I don't think Tom and Dave think we're going to win the presidency in 2024. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it is,
right.
but if I talked to Tom about this privately and on his show. When the majority of people in this country think about the word libertarian, they think about the Libertarian Party. Okay. They don't think about the Mises. They don't think about the Mises Institute. They don't think about Cato. They don't think about Tho Bishop and Tom Woods and Dave Smith. And I mean, these aren't the people they think about when they hear the word Libertarian Party. So if we have to have normies thinking about libertarianism in this country, it should be a libertarian party that exudes libertarian principles. It is a gigantic organization. It's much bigger than, some of these think tanks, including things like Cato and stuff, right?
Right.
Why not fill it with actual libertarians, right? Fill it with absolute, unapologetic, radical libertarians, get on the national stage and educate normies on what libertarianism really is. Look at it as a giant think tank, right? Because I was a non-voting anarchist too. Trust me.
Right.
Trust me. I'm an anarcho-capitalist. I read Murray Rothbard back in like 2009, and I hated the whole fucking system. Okay. But we have an opportunity to take this party away from the bow tie nerds that have been ruining libertarianism in this country for decades.
Yeah.
And get people that do need to be red pilled on the police state, on the warfare state, on the welfare state, on all these things that are going on in this country, all this terrible shit that's hurting their own interests. Now we get to do it on the political stage nationally. So whether that, you don't have to vote, you know what I mean? Like, no one's asking you to go fucking vote. No one's asking you to go and give a bunch of money to the Libertarian Party, but support this mission in any way you can. And yes, still use counter economics. Like, fuck yes, do that. Make your own, little economies where you can. Do as much shit to push back on the state as you can. I just had a debate with Larkin Rose on this exact issue. I don't know if you guys saw it. It was for Anarcho Capital or Anarcho
Didn't catch
Poco.
it.
It was like a 2-hour debate.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, look, dude, it's a fucking another tool in the toolbox. It's not, you know what I mean? Like, we're not legitimizing the system by being a part of the Libertarian Party. We're not part of the fucking system. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
The Libertarian Party,
That's true.
we have like 250 offices that are local and county offices around the country and 2 state legislators. We're not a part of the system. And the bylaw for the Libertarian Party is twofold. One, win elections. Of course, any political party wants to win elections. And the other part is to be an educational outlet for libertarian ideals. This is built into our platform, into our bylaws. Okay. So when I came to terms with it was, I can't be a part of the Republican Party. I can't do it. I was a neocon. I went to war. I saw what these politicians support firsthand, and I'll never support that party again. You couldn't, you'd have to murder me and then bring my dead body to vote for a Democrat. Okay. Which I'm sure they do if they could. And so here's where I'm at. Of course I'm going to focus on my family. That's why I dropped out of the chair race this year. I was going to run for chair again. Of course I'm going to focus on my family and my kids and making a better life for them. But if I have a little bit of time, I'm gonna support this group of people who are trying to make life better for me and my neighbors. You know what I mean? And if they're gonna do it politically, fucking good. I don't care. You know, if I got a neighbor down the street that's like, hey man, I'm starting this agorist network around our backyards and shit, right? Yeah, then good. Like I'm going to support anybody doing anything to bring more liberty in this country, and I just see it as another tool in the toolbox. You know, they were calling me in that debate Joshua Toolbox Smith because that's all it is to me. It's if you're a mechanic, you have a horrible problem, right? And you have a toolbox and you have 4 tools in there, and you have to use all 4 tools to get the problem fixed, but you leave one tool out, it's not going to work. You know what I mean? So Bitcoin, counter economics, straight up like just resisting, anything you can do. And then also, if you have an opportunity to put a little time into the political aspect, then why not? You know what I mean? It's not like it's gonna make you a bad person. And if you guys have ever read Lysander Spooner, who made a case for voting in self-defense, you know what I mean? That's how I look at it.
Right.
You know, I'm always going to go vote on whatever measures are coming up that are going to harm me in my pocketbook, right? And yeah, I said pocketbook. I'm only 38 though. And
you have
so
a Werther's in the pocketbook though, right?
Yeah, where there's a couple of like old Werther's from like 1974 or something there. But and so I'm going to vote on those measures. But if I see a candidate who's legitimately like, yo, I'm going to lower your taxes, I'm going to push back on wars, like especially like a federal candidate running for Congress, like somebody that might be on this show might do soon. I'm gonna put a bill forth every year to roll back to end these wars. I'm gonna try to audit the Fed. If I see someone doing that, I'm gonna vote for him because that's in my best interest. That's in my family's best interest. You know, is that legitimizing the system? Sure, I guess, whatever. You know what I mean? But let me tell you, 98% of the people in this country are already legitimizing the system. And it's going to continue to be tyrannical. It's going to continue to put its boot on your neck until we fucking do something. And I like the counter economics argument. I think it's a great argument, but it's not helping me. You know what I mean? So.
Right. Well, and I think that's I was just gonna say, I think that's the thing. I don't make an argument about voting out of whether or not it legitimizes the state.
Sure.
My thing is, I just don't want to be a part of it.
Sure.
Like I feel if I wanted to evoke Jordan Peterson, I truly feel at this point in my life, I need to clean my room.
Sure.
I need to make my bed. I need to take care of my family, and then from there, I do like leading from example. I do want to move that outside of my direct circle, but right now I'm trying to make my family as free as I can make it, because I do feel like freedom is something you have to practice.
And you should.
And so just so you know, I'm not saying that you're legitimizing the system by voting. I just wanted to get that out there.
Well, that's good to hear, because that's what I always hear. You're legitimizing the system. Like, dude, no, I don't think so, man. But I also support that. That, like, look, I have nothing but love for my anarchist brothers and sisters who want to just opt the fuck out. Like, I love you guys. I think you should do whatever you think is right for your family first. So.
What it sounds to me like you're saying, and just to make sure I'm getting it clearly, is there's always the multi-pronged approach.
Nooming you.
No.
So what you're saying is you're a racist. I'm like, what?
No. I'm legitimately asking with a question mark at the end, not suggesting that you're saying a thing, but are you saying this, that there is the multi-pronged approach? Some of us will work on alternative markets. Some of us will work on the political system. One person can't necessarily devote themselves to all these different things, and so we do need to sort of like have not the cohesion that you would typically see in an ideological party like a Republican Party or a Democrat Party. We don't need to all be in the boat doing the exact same motions at the same time. We can delineate who will, if I am better served not working on the politics, but you are better served working on the politics, then we should support each other in that.
Yeah, I mean,
and that yeah,
we all have the same goals. It's the same goal. You know, we want to see more freedom in this country, and whatever you can do to attain it, do it, because it's you know, we've had these anarchists and great scholars, anarcho-capitalist scholars and stuff for since, I mean, Karl Menger in 1840, right? Yeah, he was born in 1840. And we've just we've just seen the state grow and grow and grow, you know, and so I'm gonna do everything I can to not get into a civil war in this country. You know what I mean? At this point. And that's kind of where I'm at. It's like the last hope is a civil war, and we get closer to violence in this country every day, like mass, wide scale violence in this country every day. So if I can use the political system to try and save some of that, I will. If I can use counter economics to try and save some of that, I will. But you know, everybody's got to do what they think is right for them and their family first, you know, and that's really what it's about.
Well, I was just real quickly
with that.
There are governors, like you were saying with DeSantis, who are pushing back at that level. And that is far more effective than any alternative market I might create, you know, on my own over here, as far as like any governor that can present that bulwark for their people is the first line of defense. The whole like federalist system is supposed to be, you know, we're supposed to be these individual countries. And so I don't oppose political means in that regard, because without it at all, they just run amok. They go as crazy as they want to go with nothing to stop them. So I do see the point in saying, hey, if I can like wedge my foot in the door a little bit, I should at least try to do that. And I can definitely respect that. So
I'm just going to use any means I can. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like, look at it this way. Think of it this way. You're getting attacked by a guy that's 4 times your size, right? And you know, you're not going to fight fair, right? It's kind of, you're going to use any way you can, asymmetrical warfare. You're going to scratch, claw, bite, whatever you can do. And it's just another tool in the arsenal, you know. It's going to be legitimized no matter what.
Right.
I'm sure you do, Cam. A lot of us do, buddy.
But no, and I was just gonna say I agree with that, and that's the thing, I could not respect Tom Woods or Dave Smith or any of these guys, several people more, and that's why I'm asking questions. Is I know that this is not my I'm not gonna say it's not my fight, but it's not my style of fighting, and so if in October there's a surprise, then I'm going to back that surprise. But I don't know anything.
The October surprise, huh? You know about that, huh?
Who knows? Who knows what where thoughts come from? They just appear.
I'm not saying there is one, but I'm just saying there are always October surprises. My birthday is in October, and I'm pretty sure I was a surprise. But
weren't we all, buddy? Weren't we all?
But the reason I ask about the coalitions and the disaffected Republicans and all of this crap isn't to say that we should. I don't want anyone to re-enter the political sphere. And so that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying become a Republican. I'm not saying do this. I'm just wondering how much. So as an example, I won't say who, because I'm that's not me. That's not how I roll. But in this last election cycle, there were certain people who were backing Jason Hamburglar. I forgot his name after making the joke.
Jacob Hornberger.
There we go.
Oh shit! Like, what?
I made the joke and then I forgot his name. But no. So Jacob Hornberger was talked about a lot, and I didn't know anything about him. And I watched a video, and I wasn't really like, it wasn't charismatic enough for me to be like super interested. And so I had asked someone in the Mises caucus, so who is he? And what's the draw? Because I was genuinely asking, because it was like I couldn't make it through that one video I watched. I was just like, God, you're boring, dude. I'm sorry. I'm sure you're very smart, but I just couldn't. It didn't hook me, and that person got really mad at me for asking that question. And so since that point, even though I fully back Tom and you and Dave and all those guys. And if someone decides to run for president in your circle, then I will very audibly support that. But I did leave with like why did I become the enemy for asking a question? And I'm wondering. I've seen Dave talk about unification in a sense, and so I think that people are turning a corner around that. True. But I was just curious about that because that's something that I came across a couple of different, even with Joe Jorgensen. Like I said that I wasn't interested in Joe Jorgensen, and I got some pushback. And so I got
that big time.
So I'm just curious. Like I understand that there are people that are playing a game and pushing hard and trying to win a battle, but is that something, since you're in that mix, that's being more or less addressed? Because that was a huge turnoff for me.
Yeah, I don't know. The Joe Jorgensen thing was really weird because at first the caucus was like, you know what, we're going to support Joe, and then a lot of people jumped on that, and then Joe's campaign team just kind of became like this terrible fucking like thing, and I'm like, oh God, this is horrible. You know what I mean? Like the Mises Caucus had already donated at least $500 to her campaign. I think they have to keep their federal PAC status, and I'm just going, man, dude, really? Like they kicked all the radicals off her campaign team, and then just their messaging was horrible and boring. And
I had a friend who was at the national convention right after Joe Jorgensen won the nomination, and he was hanging out around in the same vicinity as Joe Jorgensen, who was talking to someone. I can't tell you who the other person was, because I don't know. But Joe Jorgen, he had asked her, what are you going to do to reach out to people who were Trump voters or who were Republicans in this cycle? And she said, oh no, those people we're not going to go after them. They've already made up their minds.
Yeah.
And so we're not going to aim at them. And so when I saw the anti-racist tweet and the Black Lives Matter tweet, I was like, okay, so this makes sense. And
yeah,
so
they went real lefty, and it was weird. Like so Spike's like one of my favorite people in the world, right? Like the Mises Caucus. Yeah, well, the Mises Caucus is the reason that Spike became the vice presidential candidate. Like,
yeah, I mean, can I ask you for a favor tomorrow when you talk to Spike? Could you start the show with your shirt off?
Me? No.
Yes, please.
No, love you.
Not gonna happen. Come on, man. You have to admit that would be just.
I'm sure good. Nobody wants to see this guy with his shirt off. Trust me, man.
So here's the thing: if I had Spike
better body
Cohen,
than I do.
If I had Spike come on, I would take my fat titties out of this shirt in a second for that joke.
Man. Oh my god!
Fagertarians already did it, so
I don't know who
so
that is.
If we can go back to Joe real quick, the night that Joe Jorgensen was announced as the presidential candidate, I was doing a live feed with 5 other women on a Ladies of Liberty broadcast, like a podcast thing that we were doing. And when the news that she was announced as the libertarian candidate hit, it was all over the place. And all 5 of us were like, who? Had no idea. All 5 of the women libertarians. Do you know how hard it is to find 5 actual female libertarians and bring them together in a group?
Well, she was Harry Brown's vice presidential candidate, right, in 2000 or 96. I can't remember, one of the 2 runs.
It was like, I think it was the first one. It was in the 90s, I believe.
And I don't know, I had been working with the party since 2015. The first time 2010, then back again in 2015, 2016. And I knew nothing about her other than that she had run with Harry Brown. I don't think she had done much with the party prior to that. But I think Jacob really set himself back with the attack posturing that he had throughout the
I've heard this, but I didn't see it because
I did. He made a 6-part series on Justin Amash, and then when Amash dropped out, he started going after Joe, and it was like, it turned a lot of people off.
Better.
Yeah, it turned a lot of people off. Unfortunately, I think Jacob was a shoo-in had he not done that. Honestly,
Well, so we started asking, the 5 of us women started asking around on our Twitter, who is Jo Jorgensen? And instantaneously, these LP people who I had no affiliation with or knew just started jumping down my throat and attacking me and saying, well, if you had paid attention to the last 8 months of libertarian debates, you would know all about Jo. Okay, well, excuse me, I just fucking got here.
Right.
You know, and it completely like, I was like, you know what, screw you, screw your George Jorgensen, whatever that means. And you can all bite my ass. I ended up voting for Trump because I didn't want, because I didn't want there to be like a socialist takeover. And I live in Georgia and I thought, you know, this is it, you know? So I don't know whether my vote was counted or not because they actually took them and put them directly into plastic trash bins right in front of our faces. Ours were not even fed into the machines. They took the votes and set them into plastic trash bags, like right next to us with us watching them do it. So later on, it came out that there was all these voting irregularities. And I'm like, that's interesting because I literally had a guy stick my vote in a trash can in front of me.
Wow.
So, yeah. So I don't know that I actually did vote for Trump or not.
Hey, man.
Not that it worked anyway.
Record vote numbers for Joe Biden. Don't forget.
Yeah.
That sleepy motherfucker. That sleepy motherfucker. He like got so many people to vote for him, more than Obama, dude.
But I did also have the opportunity to vote for Shane Hazel.
Shane Hazel. That's good. That's
Shane
a good
Hazel.
vote.
Yeah.
That is not a wasted vote. Shane
that
Hazel
is not a
the
wasted
man.
vote there.
The
yeah.
man. I love Shane.
He has some wonderful tweets about what he'd like to do for the gun laws in my state. And I'm very excited about that. So there are aspects of the political means that I would insert myself into if I had the opportunity. And that issue is one of them.
You guys need a Shane Hazel governor so badly. So badly. My God, could you imagine how awesome? I'd move to Georgia. I'd pack the whole family up and move to Georgia right away.
It's nice. You'd like
Well,
it.
you know what's funny? Speaking of packing up the family and moving, you know, last year the COVID stuff started. Mm-hmm. And Ryan, who he has a show called Techno Agorist that we run, and I was living in Pennsylvania in Allentown working with him, and I just got a bad feeling about shit before they did anything, and before anyone had a mask on their face, and I was like, oh hey, by the way, I was just like airing my concerns, and we talked about. He eventually moved to Florida too, but talking about moving to Florida. And I was just like, I don't feel comfortable with this. I don't feel comfortable. And he was like, you know, if you want to go ahead and move to Florida, you can. And I moved to Florida at the end of March of last year. Literally the day that they put the first curfew in that city. I didn't know there was going to be a curfew.
You heard my story, right?
I may have. I did.
I was in.
Ryan said you can go if you want, and I was gone in a week.
Well, I was in the Bay Area. I was in California.
That would
suck. I had a good job, and I was campaigning for chairman of the party. And I had met Julia in Iowa. I was the keynote speaker at the Iowa State Convention, and then she had driven up to Illinois and spent the weekend with me when I was the keynote speaker in Illinois. And I had flown home from Illinois, and I had got a headache, right? And I had started kind of feeling a little sick, and I worked for a skilled nursing facility. And so I called them, and I'm like, hey, I'm not feeling so hot, you know? And they're like, well, you have to get a COVID test. You can't come back. And at the time, they were doing like 500 COVID tests a week in California. And they were getting ready to institute this 24-hour lockdown in San Francisco, right? Where the airport that I use is all the time.
Yeah.
And I had all these plane tickets for all these state conventions that had just got canceled. And so I flew home from Illinois, and then I called Julia because I was already madly in love with this woman. And I called Julia, and I'm like, Julia, I'm going to come back out to Iowa, and we'll just quarantine for a couple weeks until this shit blows over, right? And she's like, yeah, do it. Yeah, please do. So I got a ticket that day. I went back to the airport. I left at 11:55. My flight left the tarmac at 11:55, and they instituted the 24-hour lockdown at midnight. And I came to Iowa. Yeah.
Oh,
Seriously,
my God.
with one suitcase.
Same thing. Like they did a curfew. Like I was leaving. I was driving out, and I met up with Ryan to give him the keys so that he could give them to my landlord. And he'd said something about a curfew that night, and I was like, oh, I didn't know about that. Like everyone thought that I was crazy at that point.
Oh,
It was so funny because then, you know, like a month, 2 later, when the world's falling apart, people are like, okay, maybe I get it.
Yeah.
I see what you did.
Well, I was just going to come quarantine for a couple weeks. And then Julia got pregnant at the beginning of April. And I got a really good job here at the beginning of April. And we built a life, man. We moved into our apartment with like a flat air mattress. There was no power in the apartment yet. We didn't have any water running in the building yet. Yeah, we slept on the floor on a flat air mattress that we couldn't blow up overnight. And then she got up and went to work, and I got up and went to Casey's Pizza and had some breakfast pizza. And that's a whole nother story. But and so we literally, I mean, now we have a big 4-bedroom house with some property and 7 kids. And I mean, we did all this in 1 year. So
God is good.
COVID be damned, you know, it's not
Right.
going to stop us. Not going to stop us. So, but we're happy.
Well, I always complain about the unplanned pregnancies that didn't happen because of COVID. But yeah, so there are some that happened because of it too. So that actually brings me a lot of joy to hear.
Yeah, the whole the whole thing was just, it was really, I mean, everything kind of just fell into line. I wouldn't have been able to get custody of my daughter and her 2 siblings if it was just me on my own with my bachelor roommate back in California. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
So it really worked out. And then we, you know, obviously we had Mateo on New Year's Eve, and he's an amazing little chunky boy. And
So
yeah, so and then the granddaughter.
Another thing is we had our newest chunky girl December 28th.
Oh,
so we added to our brood as well.
We're very close. Very, very close. Yeah. A couple days there. My son is got to be 25 pounds already. I mean, he's just massive. He's the biggest kid I've ever seen.
Baby.
He's he's chunky, but he's also like 2.5 feet tall already, and like huge head and stuff. So
well, in the old days, it was considered a good thing to have a fat baby. You wanted a thick baby.
Oh
so.
Yeah, but yeah,
I still consider it good.
The tax credit was nice. It was perfect
Yes.
timing.
Oh sure.
But yeah, so we have, of course, we had these questions about the Mises Caucus and the LP and all of this political stuff that I'm not interested in doing myself. But I want you to know, I support the hell out of you, and I respect the hell out of you, and I hope you didn't feel like that was undue pushback. I'm
really
just
hurt
curious.
my fucking feelings, Cam.
Yeah, man. Well, that's the thing, and I have had some trepidation with some people due to that. Hey, who is this guy? In the anger that I got. So I appreciate you actually talking to me about it. And
yeah, man.
Yeah.
You guys see the shit I deal with every day, man. It's real hard to hurt my feelings these days.
Yeah, that shit with Richie, I'm sorry, I'm gonna bring up some Twitter drama, but that shit with Richie was bullshit, and I meant what I said. You just keep succeeding so that he has lots of things to complain about, because the better you do, the bitchier he gets, and that's just your metric. The more pissed off Richie is, the better you know.
I didn't do it.
Oh,
this isn't me.
That's Ryan doing that.
That's Ryan.
Yeah, that's the behind.
I've been reading this shit the entire show, and I'm just like, I need to cut this part off. Like, I can't watch this anymore. Like, it's killing me. You realize you were talking to. Oh, now you put. Holy shit! The entire. Wow. The entire. Kinsella quote. Nice.
Is that the copy pasta?
Yeah.
Of the,
yes.
Of Kinsella. Yeah.
Oh God. I was trying to be encouraging, Ryan.
You guys are killing me. You guys are killing me. I gotta go.
Here's the deal. We are the mad ones. We love absurdity. We love making the absurd. One thing that I want to show you that came up on my feed while we were talking was, so I made the fat Dave Smith post, and so it's been going around. Like I said, it's left me. It's beyond me.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
out in the wild now, buddy.
Yeah. And so David posted the one with Biggie, and he said, okay, this is the best one yet, but seriously, this has to stop. And Jeff Deist said, it's out of your hands, fatty. And that's
Oh my God. I love
that's
Jeff Deist.
perfect.
I love
Jeff Deist will
One of
be
my
on our
favorite
show
people.
on
Man.
April 25th, by the
He's
way.
one of my favorite people in the world, man.
It's
He's
exciting.
he used to play in a hardcore band. You should bring that up.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you know what the band is
So-
called?
Like old school hardcore band. I can't tell you. He's got to tell you himself.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Like old school
Okay.
hardcore. Like for real hardcore. So
Well, let me ask you my question that I ask, and it's a fun one. So we do talk about white pills a lot because we truly believe in hope and in being able to win this thing even on the individual level.
sure.
So a lot of people, I'll ask this. I'll say, well, what's the white pill that you would like to share with the audience that helps you, that gives you hope in the world that we're living in right now? And a lot of times I ask that and people think that I'm asking on this macro scale. And so I want to make sure you can answer on the macro scale. You can answer with LP or whatever. But if it's something small, like one of my white pills was my baby at the end of last year. So let me ask, what is a white pill that people can microdose so that they feel a little bit of hope and a little bit of ability to move forward in this dark world that we're living in right now?
Well, it's definitely, I mean, it's got to be my children first, That's for
absolutely.
sure. And listen, if you guys are feeling really down, just know that I am going to repopulate this earth. I mean,
Dude, you and me together, buddy.
Yeah.
Ryan also has 5 children.
Jesus, we're doing it. We're doing the damn thing. We're gonna repopulate this world.
Making an army.
Yeah. And then I guess on a bigger scale, it's the Mises Caucus. You know what I mean? They've really white pilled me on the mission. I'm a 2-time endorsed candidate for them for chair of the party. I've watched the work they are doing. Personally, was their candidate committee chair. They're unstoppable right now, man. I mean, they really are. They went from 5 guys in a living room, basically, and 50 people in a Facebook group to pulling in almost $15,000 a month, busting their ass. Yeah, and I see that Heather Tower Gang. Tower Gang is definitely a very big white pill for me. My Tower Gang. I am one of the original Tower Gang members. # Tower Gang. Shout out to my brothers and sisters in the Tower Gang. That is a white pill as well, but. There's a lot of white pills for me right now. I think that we can win. We don't have to lose. You know what I mean? We can win. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Like that.
All right. Well, I think that we've had a good conversation, and I think I like you more. By the way, I think that what actually ingratiated me to you as a person was when we were in the Tower Gang chat. And I posted a meme of from Lord of the Rings with Legolas saying, the Legolas Gimli meme,
yeah,
where it said, I never thought I would be fighting alongside but I'd put LP gay F word.
Right.
And then how about a friend? And so and you were like, oh man, am I the LP
I'm the LP.
guy?
I'm the LP guy. Shit.
And you took it like so.
It was one of those realizations, like I know I work for the LP, man, but it's like it's like sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I am that guy. Fuck, damn it. Oh shit. Yeah, that's me. That's all right. It's unfortunate, but it's the price we pay for what things we do.
But yeah, so no, I definitely consider you an ally, a friend, and a fun person to talk to, which I think is maybe more important than the rest of it in my book. So as we close up, I know people can find you on Twitter at Joshua at Large, and if you want to watch your couch streams, break the cycle couch streams, you can go to youtube.com/fightthedespots. Is there anywhere else you want people to find you, or is that
if
kind of rounding it out?
Well, Odyssey, you can find Break the Cycle with Joshua Smith at Odyssey, Instagram, Break the Cycle with Joshua Smith, Patreon. If you want to pay me, you know what I mean? The patreon.com / Break the Cycle JS. But you can also listen to my podcast if you're not a big fan of YouTube or Odyssey or watching the podcast. Yeah. I did really put together a nice, stunningly visual thing for people here. It took me about 100 hours worth of YouTube time to figure out how to run my stream in 1080p like this. So if you could watch the video, that'd be cool. But if not, I understand. You can find us on every single podcast catcher available, except for like 2 of them for some reason. I'm going to figure out why. But
that keeps happening to me. I keep having people say, why is it no longer on? I don't know. I forget which ones it is, but I keep having to resubmit our audio feeds.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm on almost all. I mean, I'm on like Overcast and Spotify and Google and Apple and all that stuff. So you can find Break the Cycle with Joshua Smith. I promise you. We're not like the top rated podcast yet, but we are coming for you, Joe Rogan. You know what I mean? It's coming. We're on our way. But yeah, it's fast growing. I'm really excited to have all the support that we've had. It's almost unbelievable to me that people want to sit around and listen to me for an hour, 2 or 3 times a week. But hey, I'll take it. So
right on.
I just wish you had more handsome bearded people on your show. That's all I have to say.
We'll have to figure something out, Cam.
But since you've plugged, let me tell everyone quickly where to find us and tell you what's happening over the next few weeks for our show. If you want to find me, I say a lot of bad words on Twitter at Cam Harless. If you want to see this lady over here make cogent arguments and then also say bad words at Soup Canarchist, we have a locals, themadOnes.locals.com. It's not as hopping as it should be, people. Get in there and make some shit posts. This is what we're about. We do have t-shirts that'll be linked. We have, if you want to listen to it, you can listen on wearethemadOnes.com. You can listen to that or our other shows on mlganetwork.com. If you want to watch it, which is honestly the best thing, because who doesn't want to see Joshua Smith's face? I don't know. Richie Casaldo, probably. YouTube, youtube.com/themadOnes for that. And we're on Odyssey as well. Unfortunately, it has my old handle from when we were Make Liberty Great Again. And if you want some coffee, I'm going to tell you to go to lorenzati.coffee and don't use Joshua Smith's
BTC at checkout. BTC at checkout.
Use mine, the Mad Ones. But beyond that, in the future, what you got?
Can we talk about how much better your Lorenzati ad is than me just being like lorenzati.coffee for all your delicious Italian coffee needs delivered directly to your door? Is way better than
I try.
I gotta do some video ads now.
I know that they sponsor us. We sponsor them. I don't know how it works. Anyway, I know they're affiliated with us, but they are really great coffee. And
like
when
the
we
best
ran
coffee
out,
I've ever had.
So good.
Ever.
So like, I know we technically benefit from telling you how good this coffee is, but I promise you will not be mad if you get some of this coffee.
Yeah,
you'll be the opposite of mad.
They like sent us some for free, They were they essentially like crack dealers. They sent us some for free, and now we're gonna buy more because it's that good. And
right.
I'm not. You guys aren't using my link here. It's really good shit. Like it's the best coffee I've ever had. We don't buy the beans because we don't have a grinder. We will get a grinder eventually, but we just buy they have ground coffee too, and it's. I don't know how they're doing it or what they're doing or where they're getting it, but it's the best tasting coffee I've ever had for sure. Italians must know how to do coffee better than I thought.
That's right.
Well, I did buy a grinder because I wanted to try it both as a cold brew and as a pour over, and it's good as a cold brew. That's my jam though. I like my cold brew.
Yeah, you live in Florida. I live in Iowa, man. When it's negative 40, you don't want cold brew, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I drink that shit in Alaska. So coming up, we have Clint from Liberty Lockdown next Wednesday.
He's the best.
We have
Clint's awesome.
We have after that, we have on a Sunday at 8 p.m. we have Mr. Jeff Dice that's going to be coming on the show. Followed by Carrie Wedler on the 28th. And then Friendship Month starts in May. And we have Freckles and Britt starting that off, followed by one of my best friends in podcasting, probably because she buttered me up so much when I did my Red Pills on Waco. Miss Monica motherfucking Perez is coming back on the show.
I have
love Monica.
She's great.
She's the best.
She's great. And let me tell you, I will give you some weird shit to say to her to make her laugh if you have the balls.
Just message it over, buddy. Message it over.
All right. So with that, thank you for coming on, Josh. I really enjoyed it.
I have a quick thing to plug, actually.
Saturday,
on Saturday, I'm going to be part of the 24-hour live stream with the Freedom Scoop Network, and they are raising money for a suicide prevention charity. So I will be posting the links for all of that. They have a fantastic lineup.
I'm also on that.
Oh, are you also on that? Awesome. So yeah, they're doing they did it last year for St. Jude's, and they raised hundreds of dollars for the Children's Hospital. And suicide prevention is something that's really, on everyone's mind because of the COVID lockdowns exacerbating the issue. So this is something that, can definitely benefit people. If you guys want to come check out the live stream, I'm not saying you have to donate, but definitely come and just be there. That would be support too.
Sweet. Yeah.
Also, I have an idea for a charity thing that I want to do, and I want Josh to be in on it too. So we'll talk about that later.
Right,
but with that, like I said, thank you for coming on. I enjoyed the hell out of this. And with that, dear audience, I'm switching up the sign off tonight because Mike Brancatelli just fucking killed it yesterday. Just blew me out of the water. So instead of me going through a whole list of shit to tell you before I leave, here you go. Be the glitch you want to see in the Matrix.